The Body by Stephen King, or as the movie was titled, Stand By Me. After learning that a boy was killed on the train tracks and that his body is still out there, four friends decide to band together, go on a big hiking trip to see it in person. Gordie is the main character, and he is writing about this childhood experience that he had, and he's thinking about it, how it connects to the rest of his life, and it's the story of friendship, of growing up, and it's really a classic tale on both of those accounts. Stephen King does a great job of getting inside the mind of a young adolescent male, like what's important, what's not important, the relationship with adults, how they see the future, how they see their own future, like what's going to happen to them. It's great at capturing that boundary between being a child and everything is safe, and then being an adult, that weird outside world where things start to happen. That's the adolescent age that King captures so well in this book. And what better way to do that than with confronting death? Because a child isn't thinking about it, but these children, they realize that a child their age was hit by a train and now he's not breathing anymore and he's dead. And in the course of the story, you see how this fact makes the boys grow up a bit. I also really have to compliment Stephen King on the four boys. They have such great, distinct personalities. Like, you feel like you know all four of them very quickly. Like, they each have their own little niche, and you just love watching them interact with each other. This book is a heartwarming book because it really is about friendship and how these kids, like, they're relying on each other for so much. And yet it's also a funny book because just the child logic in all these situations. Like, they plan on this big long hike, but nobody packed any food, and so they have to try to figure out what to do because they're kids. They're not really responsible yet. And the way that he uses profanity in the book is also just kind of funny because all the kids are innocent. But it's like they're just experimenting by using these adult sounding, vulgar things. And the movie captures it really well too. Like, it's a great adaptation by Rob Reiner, and it's hard not to picture the actors in the movie while reading the book. So they just go together really well. I thought it was interesting how in the book you have Gordie, the main character. He's learning things while he's going on through this big hike, and now they're almost killed by a train, almost attacked by a dog. Like, all these things are happening. But the real wisdom that Gordie is pulling from these experiences is really coming years later when he's writing it all down. He's thinking about it, and he's thinking about his friends and how, like, you really don't have friends like you do when you're 12. Like, there's just something special about that time that can't be replicated. And when you're in that time, you can't appreciate how cool it is that time that you have. So it's a fascinating little life truth that the book brings out beautifully. Stephen King was on Colbert a few years ago promoting his book, and Colbert asked him his 5 favorite stories that he has done. The Body was one of them, and I can see why, because I feel like this was very autobiographical of Stephen King. And I remember him in some interviews talking about his boyhood having some similar experiences to the kids in Stand By Me. So I'm basically picturing Stephen King when I read this as he's thinking about his growing up and his life. I don't know if he ever saw a body or not, but I wonder if there's some experience that he's pulling from. Anyway, great short little novella. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars.